When foldables first came out, they were the coolest things ever, and it seemed like they just became boring after a while. With this one though, I think that it did something here. This is the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7, and it feels like a regular phone. It's the size of a regular smartphone, and the Fold 7 and the S25 Ultra pretty much have similar sizes. When it unfolds, it basically feels like, or it is the slimmest tablet I have ever used. And honestly, I think this might just be Samsung's most refined foldable yet. If you've used or have seen the Fold 5 or the Fold 6, you'll definitely notice the difference. And for the first time, this comes with a 200 megapixel main camera on the back. This is the highest we've ever seen on a Samsung foldable. Almost everything got an upgrade here. The design, the durability, the performance, but not everything though. The Z Fold 7 starts at around 2,750,000 naira or $1,999. But the big question is, do these changes justify this premium price tag once again? Without further ado, let's dive in. The Z Fold 7 comes in this simple black box, and there's not a lot inside. Once you tear off the seal, the first thing you see is the phone itself already unfolded. Both displays, the cover screen and the main screen, are wrapped in black protective film. In the lid of the box, there's a slim black compartment that holds a few essentials. You get a user manual, a Type-C to Type-C charging cable, and the SIM ejector tool. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, you might need to source a few accessories later on. Now let's talk design, because this is where the Fold 7 makes one of the biggest statements. At first glance, it still looks like a foldable, but Samsung has trimmed it down even more. It is now the thinnest fold ever at just 8.9 millimeters thin, and when you unfold it, it is around 4.2 millimeters thin. It doesn't feel like two phones merged into one. It feels balanced and natural in the hand. It feels like a normal phone, and it weighs 215 grams. This is actually lighter than most regular phones now, and it's definitely lighter than any previous fold. But there's a catch. This one, the new one, doesn't come with an S Pen, and there's frankly no space for that to exist here. Samsung also made a few changes to the hinge here. While it unfolds and folds softly and slightly more refined, it also folds flatter than, or better than, the previous generations, if you will. There's barely any gap here, and the crease, well, the crease is much less visible here. On the front, the cover screen is slightly wider now, 6.5 inches, so texting or scrolling without unfolding the phone actually feels more comfortable. There's no more compromise with using a foldable phone now, and around the back, you get this frosted matte glass finish with soft edges that curve subtly into the frame, with an aluminum frame holding it all together, and the glass back is a fingerprint magnet, so definitely watch out for that one. The color we got here is the silver shadow, but it also comes in jet black and the blue shadow. All three colors are pretty cool. I think I like the blue one, but we got the silver one, and I think it's also not bad. One small change though is that Samsung moved the SIM tray to the top of the phone, right next to the speaker cutout. It is a dual SIM, and you've got a speaker and two microphones up there. The bottom of the phone houses another speaker cutout and a USB-C port, as well as two other microphones, one for each edge. On the right side of the phone, you get the volume button and the power button, which doubles as the fingerprint scanner. The left side is clean because that's where the hinge is, and it comes with the standard Samsung inscription, the standard Samsung logo right there. The camera bump is slightly more pronounced here. It's not too much, but it's just enough to catch your eye, and I like the island look that it has. In my opinion, I think this is pronounced this way because this phone is really thin and you need something to grip, when you're holding the phone, because it can just slip off your hands. So I think the bump makes sense for form factor. Now, once you unfold it, you are ushered into Samsung's interpretation of a mini tablet. The cover screen and the back panel are, of course, sitting side by side. But I think what is interesting is how they've evolved its look over the past few generations. Both displays, the main and cover screen, also come with punch hole selfie cameras. Now that we know what has changed on the outside, let's talk about what's happening on the inside. The Fold 7 is powered by the Snapdragon 8 Elite processor. It is one of the most powerful mobile processors out right now, and it's designed to handle multitasking, heavy-duty tasks without any hassle. Whether you're opening apps, switching between the apps, or running 3 apps side by side, the whole thing feels incredibly smooth. There's little to no lag or delay. It works really well. Every demanding task that I've put this through, advanced games, they work really well. And I actually liked gaming on this because that inner screen is just big. And there's, AI powered tools. There's Magic Eraser that works well. It works on some images, and it just didn't work on some images, unfortunately. due to the location. I tried to draw glasses on my face, it didn't work, but it worked for something like a fruit on a flat surface, for instance. The chip is customized for Galaxy devices. It runs slightly faster than the standard version you find in other phones. But AI is also a big part of what makes this phone feel intelligent. The processor enables features like real-time voice translation, photo editing powered by generative AI, circle to search, which by the way, I think just makes sense because it has this faster integration with Google's AI summary, so you can circle to search for anything and it just gives you results in a very smart way. There's also audio eraser, which is meant to erase noise in something like a voiceover to make it sound more professional. There's instant slow-mo, which is cool. So you have something like a plant that is fast moving. You can click and hold the footage to slow it down. There's notes assist to summarize and translate notes, transcript assist, and even AI browsing assist. There's also Gemini Live as well. And I made a whole video about it and everything we saw at Google I/O, which is Google's biggest event of the year. You can watch that with the card up above. The Z Fold 7 supports Wi-Fi 7, so you have faster Wi-Fi speeds, faster download speeds, 5G, which can help with gameplay, Bluetooth 5.3 for quicker file sharing. It's running on Android 16 layered with One UI 8, Samsung's custom software designed for their foldables. It features the drag and drop between windows, split screen multitasking, and it has a taskbar-like dock that makes this phone feel almost like a computer, run multiple apps, and switch between them with no lag. Samsung is also promising up to 7 years of software updates and security updates, so probably all the way up to Android 23. Which is not so bad. I mean, you spent 2.7+ million or almost $2,000. So yeah, you can choose between 12 gigs of RAM and 16 gigs of RAM on this guy. This will depend on how many things you want to run at once. For storage, you can either get 256 gigabytes, 512 gigabytes, or 1 terabyte of storage for your apps and games. Now, the Fold 7 has the same battery life as the Fold 6, and it should last longer because of the improved capacity on the processor. From my own light use and full days of use, I use it to listen to music throughout my morning workouts, and going into the afternoon and night, I would only use around 40% of battery life. So a somewhat early morning would have my battery going off on me. If you introduce multitasking and gaming though, expect that to change very quickly. Your device is going to drain much faster. You're using a large screen with so much graphic capabilities and features, so the battery will go down even faster. Gaming on the Fold 7 is fantastic. The phone features the Adreno 830 GPU, which is part of what makes gaming on this feel quite good. It also handles your somewhat heavy-duty games well. Playing games like War Thunder Edge and Diablo Immortal, both games with heavy graphics and ray tracing, aka realistic graphics with the light, shadows, and reflection effects, that is where you will notice the Snapdragon Elite processor doing work over time. Talking about thermals though, when you push this phone hard, think long gaming sessions or benchmarking with tools like 3D Mark, Wildlife Extreme, it naturally starts to heat up. But there's a safety system in place. Once the phone reaches a certain temperature threshold, it activates the thermal throttling, so the phone will slightly reduce performance to avoid overheating and protect the internal components, of course. It does this to keep things running smoothly. I didn't notice this too much during my gameplay. It was present, but it does get warm to the touch, especially around the camera bump area. It did get warm around that side when I was gaming. The Z Fold 7 has 2 screens, as you already know, a 6.5-inch dynamic AMOLED 2X cover screen and a massive 8-inch foldable inner display. Both are AMOLED panels and both have 120Hz refresh rate. That means your scrolling will be smooth, there will be snappy interactions whether you're using the phone folded or fully open. This year, the outer display is slightly wider, and I must say I really like that. With previous versions, it was quite obvious, the screen was small, it was a bit too slim and tight, but here, typing feels more natural. Apps don't feel cramped and it's more comfortable to use with one hand. You can look at something like the S25 Ultra and the Fold 7 and see that they look almost close, look almost similar anyway. I'd say what I really like is that this feels like a regular phone now. It still supports the always on display, the outdoor visibility is great, especially or even under direct sunlight. And this is because the screen can hit up to 2600 nits of peak brightness. The blacks stay deep, the colors look sharp and vivid. Now, when you unfold it, you get that expansive inner display. It is immersive, it is bright enough colors there, and it is nicely balanced depending on your wallpaper and your theme. And the screen itself is a little larger than last year's as well. It feels like it wraps around your field of view well, and it can get overwhelming sometimes as expected. The display is large and it's also good for multitasking. And the crease, while it's still there, it is slightly less now. slightly less noticeable. You don't really feel it so much, especially when you're scrolling or gaming. Visually, it kind of fades into the background. Unless the lights hit it at a certain angle, you will see it. And the big question, for the main screen is that, why did they take away the S Pen? I just, why? Samsung, why? As far as I can tell, I haven't seen any case that has the S Pen there. And there's an S Pen support for the Fold 6, which is very interesting, but not on the Fold 7. One of the trade-offs that come with slimming this phone down is the lack of the S Pen support. And I'm not even sure you can use another stylus. It may not work properly and you could risk damaging your screen. So unless Samsung says otherwise, maybe don't try it. Unless it's proven that it's safe, I wouldn't say you should try another pen product. Sure, the Z Fold 7 is thinner than ever, but that naturally raises the question, is this actually built well, or is it just a fragile piece of tech that you drop and then something bad happens? I think it's fine. Right? Right? Samsung is still using ultra thin glass again, but it's now improved for better durability and fewer scratches over time. It still gives you the clarity of glass, but it is engineered to bend and handle repeated folding without issues. The cover screen is protected by Gorilla Glass Ceramic 2 and the back is protected by Gorilla Glass Victus 2. So it's a bit tougher against scratches and drops around the frame, and Samsung is using its Armor aluminum, which is strong and lightweight, and it definitely doesn't feel slippery or even cheap. So again, Gorilla Glass Victus 2 on the back. The back is glass and it can break too, so be careful with it. And if you want to, you can actually just get a case, but I think a case will hide the beauty of this phone and how slim it looks, but you can. The hinge design also feels slightly reworked to make the fold feel more solid so that less dust can creep in, and it folds completely shut and flat, so the gaps are not so visible anymore. But it also makes it feel more compact, and when you open it, the hinge, it feels firm, it feels sturdy, and this internal structure feels improved. It's supposed to be more durable and last a little bit more longer. As for protection, the Z Fold 7 is IP48 water resistant, so it's safe from splashes and minor water touching it, but it's not dust proof. Do not go near the sand with this. Do not put this near the sand. Keep that in mind. Don't damage your very, very, very expensive foldable. So yeah, if you want to, you might need to get a phone case. Protect your phone. It's an investment after all. However, as for me, I'm not putting any case. I would not even go there. I think this looks really, really good as is when it's folded. And when it's unfolded, it just looks like the way a foldable should look. As expected from Samsung, and honestly from any true flagship, the sound on the Z Fold 7 is very good. Naturally, the first thing you experience when you're gaming is the way it sounds, and this sounds really good. I'll let you hear it for yourself. This is a voice recording from the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7. Let me know what you think about the sound quality in the comments below.
Listen, let's get this straight.
We've taken the lead.
The phone has stereo speakers and they are loud and crisp, they are well balanced. You can feel the bass, the mids don't get lost, and the highs don't feel harsh either. Whether you're watching a movie, playing COD or any game, or just scrolling through reels, the audio easily just fills your room and you experience it well. Even when the phone is unfolded, the sound doesn't feel off-center or weirdly placed. The speaker positioning was clearly intentional, and it really helps maintain that immersive experience. So no matter how you're holding the phone, there is a stereo speaker here. Of course, there is no headphone jack, but that's expected at this point. It's really slim. I think with a good pair of wireless earbuds or headphones, you will still enjoy rich audio with this guy. The Z Fold 7 gets a major upgrade this year. It's the first fold to get Samsung's 200 megapixel wide-angle sensor, the same one on the S25 Ultra, and that is a massive leap from the 50 megapixel sensor that was on the Fold 6 from last year. So Samsung's AI processing will make the image look good. There's better color reproduction, whether you're zoomed in or taking landscape shots. You also get a 12 megapixel ultra wide lens with autofocus and macro support, and a 10 megapixel 3x optical zoom telephoto lens with optical image stabilization. These are familiar from the previous folds, but they fine-tuned them with smoother edges on here. The Z Fold 7 has dual 10 megapixel punch hole selfie cameras. one on the cover screen and another one on the inner display. And as you know, you can use the cover screen to take a picture with the best camera. So you can take a selfie with the best camera. That's the rear camera of the phone, and you will get decent results. This also makes your photos and angle shots easier. Both selfie cameras can deliver vibrant shots, and switching between them is seamless. It doesn't affect the quality at all. Now, while unfolded, you can tap on the preview button here, which splits the screen in half, and you can use the other half to preview videos or pictures that you just took. The selfie and portrait shots look good. The rear camera also produces some sharp images, whether you're at 1x or zoomed in. Pointing the camera at other objects showed how sharp objects can be again, whether it was a building or a plant. At night, selfies in night mode looked sharper, of course. While normal images looked soft, you would have to wait a bit for the image to process for night mode. You can see the same thing with the rear cameras as well. Night mode always looks sharper with that processing time. Also, texts render well with the images here, and when you zoom in, you can even see details in things that are super bright objects. Now, here's what a wide shot looks like at ultra wide, 1x, 5x, 10x, all the way up to 30x. As for video, you get up to 8K 30 frames per second on the main sensor here, plus 4K at 60 frames per second with gyro EIS, electronic image stabilization, and 10-bit HDR10+. The front cameras only record up to 4K 60 frames per second or 30 frames per second, which is, good enough for recording. In the bottom right corner of the camera's interface, you'll find quick tools like your timer, manual exposure, filters, and color tones. But if you want more control, swipe into the more section. That's where you will find even more stuff. In there, you find Expert RAW, which opens a whole new native app within the app, which gives you full manual control. There's white balance, ISO, shutter speed, RAW, JPEG, all of that stuff, and the quality is not so bad. But if all these things are overwhelming and you just want the regular Pro mode instead, you can still do that. You can get adjustable settings without leaving the camera interface and all the heavy lifting. For videos, the Pro video is where you can adjust HDR, exposure control, mic direction, use an audio monitor, and even shoot log, which gives you this flat looking footage, and you can color grade it later if you shoot a log, or you can either color correct it directly on the phone or head over to Samsung's website to download a conversion lot. I'll put a link in the description below for that. There's also a histogram, which will help you monitor exposure while filming, something professionals would maybe find useful. You can also turn on zebra patterns and false color, which is, I think, it's overkill at this point. Whether you're shooting ultra wide or zooming in, autofocus is super responsive and the image clarity stays somewhat consistent. In the more section, you also get fun options like portrait video, single take, which is similar to the iPhone's burst mode. Of course, you can take a selfie video again with the rear camera, and this is what it looks like. The inner camera isn't as sharp as the outer one, but it's also usable. Videos generally look sharp here. At night, there's still a lot of detail in video. Battery life on the Z Fold 7 is honestly solid. I was a little worried at first, mainly because of how slim the phone is. So despite having two big displays, one on the cover and the bigger one on the inside, it still runs comfortably and you will still enjoy this. Samsung kept the same 4400 mAh battery from last year, but the performance is slightly better than the one before it. So you'll be able to get through most of the day with YouTube, Instagram, gaming, and work without panicking for a charger. Of course, if you are constantly on the larger display, your battery will drain faster. It also charges decently well, 25 watts wire charging, 15 watts wireless charging, and a 4.5 watts reverse wireless charging. You still need a compatible charger though, a compatible power adapter, which does not come in the box. We used a 96-watt charger in the office, and it took 1 hour and 25 minutes to charge this phone from 0 to 100%. The Z Fold 7 has a starting price of $1,999 or $2,750,000 naira. You can go up to $2,149 for the 1TB 12GB model, which is right in line with what we expect from a Samsung Fold, a Samsung foldable phone. It is a premium device and the price reflects that fact. But when you look at what you're getting, there's a lot of innovation here. The slimness for one, and many other things, the camera and just using the phone. Still, this phone is for people who want that extra screen space. You want a phone and a tablet all in one. It's different from a regular phone, but it feels like a regular phone. But let me know what you think about this phone, and based on everything you've seen in this video, in the comment section below. Will you be getting something like this? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll be right there chatting with you guys.